So why do these problems exist? What causes these problems exist largely for a number of reasons. And let me call out the big pink elephant in the room. I hear this all the time. I'm too busy. I'm in the back. I'm dealing with the patients, right? I don't have time to do it. I'm too busy chairside. I already wear all these hats. This isn't judgment at all. This is the reality of the situation, right? We have these problems. They're causing me this pain. And why haven't I solved these problems yet? How about this? If you've ever said blank marketing doesn't work in my area or blank marketing doesn't work for me. Blank could be websites. It could be SEO. It could be direct mail. It could be marketing just doesn't work for me. No marketing works for me. I don't know what it is, right? How about you have no way to tell if the people you hire are A players until they've worked for you. No way to tell until you hire them. How about, man, I don't have time. We had a practice that we work with, David and I work with, that lost 2 people in a week. Man, that's hard. That's really hard. You just can't hire fast enough. And you go into triage mode. So these are kind of the reasons that we live with the pain that we have. We have these problems causing pain, and now we're kind of living with them. We're kind of stuck with them because we're too busy chairside, or we don't have the people, we can't hire the people, or we don't know how to hire the people, or the marketing doesn't work, or these I call them rationalizations. We rationalize why the problem or the pain exists. And
yeah. I think there's it's important that we correlate, or we create the correlation and the awareness around the things that we're most competent in are also the things that we tend to like more, or we have a higher level of interest. That's where the 10,000 hours concept comes from. Do I enjoy it enough to invest the time? Do I enjoy it enough to want to spend the time doing that? So what starts to happen is, there with the practices that we've connected with over the last few months, there are some practices that they don't allow the problems. As soon as a problem bubbles up that's going to impact their cash flow, Colin, what are they doing? They're jumping all over it because It's important to them. They like managing the books. They're going to do it themselves. They don't want anybody else to take it away from them. They're going to focus on that till the day that they are out of the practice, even though they don't have to. They like it. They enjoy it. It's important to them. They're going to do that. For the practice owners that don't necessarily find a natural level of enjoyment in that, one thing starts to go wrong that impacts cash flow, then another, then another, then another. And the lack of engagement or excitement in that area keeps our competency low and allows the problems to get bigger. And that's really where this happens. And this isn't, nobody loves everything and nobody is great at everything. So there's nobody that's out of this conversation, Colin and I included. This is just the way that it works. And when we talk about the 3 Ps, the practice, people, and patience, you guys are going to find those areas where you really enjoy the work and you have a higher level of competence there. You need to be aware of the areas in the 3 Ps where the enjoyment and the competency might not necessarily be there. So you have the awareness and you can start to create those different outcomes and become that CEO dentist.
Yep, absolutely. And the reality is a lot of times when we're dealing in these areas that we're incompetent, and again, this isn't a judgy thing saying, oh, you're incompetent, David.
Right.
We're all incompetent. I am highly incompetent at dentistry. You don't want me prepping your crown, right? I don't want to prep your crown. It's going to be very painful for both of us. And I've got other things that I'm really not good at. We don't need to get into that. My wife tells me all the time, she's got a long list of things that I'm not good at. But we all have these things that we're not good at. And by all means, like David said, if you like the numbers and you want to go get an MBA of sorts and you want to do that, then do it. I highly encourage, if you enjoy it, to go do it and become an expert. But the problem occurs when you're not competent and you have a high level of confidence you can do it. And then that's where the pain comes from. And oftentimes when we're incompetent, the real root problem is we don't know enough to even diagnose the problem, right? If a patient presented to me and said they've got this pain in their lower jaw, I don't know enough about clinical dentistry to diagnose if they need a filling or a root canal or a crown. I mean, yeah, I can take a probe back there and poke around and see if anything is kind of sticky. I mean, I know enough to be dangerous, but the reality is oftentimes when we're incompetent, we are misdiagnosing the problems. And what that leads to is the old football analogy. It does no good to run enthusiastically down the field the wrong way, right? If you don't diagnose the right problem in your patient's mouths, if you're drilling on 14 and the real problem is on number 8, you can do anything you want to 14 and it's not going to help. The problem's not going to go away.